Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, as we embark on this journey together, I want you to understand that everything you seek, everything you desire, and everything you wish to become already exists within you. The world you see around you is nothing but a reflection of your inner state, a mirror of your consciousness, and it is through the deliberate, consistent focus on yourself that you can shape this inner world and, consequently, your outer reality. Now then, I speak of focusing on yourself. I do not mean this in the egotistical sense that the world often promotes. No, I speak of a deeper, more profound focus, a focus on your true self, your divine nature, your I am for you. See, you are not merely a physical being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience. And it is in recognizing and embracing this truth that you begin to tap into the infinite power that resides within you every day as you awake from your slumber. You have a choice. You can choose to be swept away by the currents, the world, allowing external circumstances to dictate your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Or you can choose to focus on yourself, to turn inward and connect with the God within you. For make no mistake, my dear friends, you are God in human form, expressing itself as you. This focus on self is not a selfish act, but the most selfless thing you can do, for as you elevate your consciousness, as you align yourself with your divine nature, you elevate the entire world. You become a beacon of light, illuminating the path for others to follow. But how, you may ask, does one focus on oneself every day? It begins with awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. So these are the building blocks of your reality. Thought you think. Every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is shaping your world in this very moment. And it is through becoming aware of these inner movements that you can begin to consciously direct them. Imagine, if you will, that your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed planted in this garden. Some thoughts are beautiful flowers, others are noxious weeds. By focusing on yourself every day, you become the master gardener of your mind. You carefully select which seeds to plant, which starts to nurture, and which beliefs to water with your attention. This, my dear friends, is the essence of what I teach. The law of assumption states that if you assume a state, if you live from it as if it were already true, it must manifest in your outer world. But to do this effectively, you must focus on yourself every day. Must cultivate the inner state that corresponds to your desired reality. Let us delve deeper into this concept. Thank you. When you focus on yourself, you are essentially focusing on your I am. I am is the name of God, and it is also your name. When you say I am, you are invoking the creative power of the universe. This is why it is crucial to be mindful of what follows. Am in your thoughts and speech. If you constantly tell yourself, I am tired, I am broke, I'm unlucky, are creating that reality. But when you focus on yourself every day, when you connect with your true nature, you can begin to consciously choose empowering. I am statements. I am abundant. I am loved. I'm successful. These are not mere affirmations, but declarations of your true state of being. Now some of you might be thinking, but never. How can I declare myself to be something I am not yet experiencing in physical reality? And to this I say, congratulations, you have just identified the very belief that has been holding you back. For you see, time is an illusion of the physical world. In the realm of spirit, in your true state of being, everything already exists in the eternal. Now, when you focus on yourself every day, you begin to see beyond the illusion of time and space. You start to understand that the vision of you that has already achieved your desires, that is already living your dream life, exists right now. And by aligning your consciousness with that version of yourself, you bring it into your physical experience. This, my friends, is the power of imagination. Imagination is not some fanciful daydreaming, but the very substance of reality. The world you see around you was once only imagined. Every invention, every work of art, every human achievement began as a mere thought, an imaginal act. And it is through the focus on self, through the deliberate use of your imagination, that you can reshape your world. When you focus on yourself every day, you are essentially engaging in a form of mental diet. Just as you are careful about what you put into your physical body, must be equally discerning about what you feed your mind. The thoughts you entertain, the mental images you well upon, the inner conversations you engage in. These are the nourishment for your consciousness. And just as a healthy physical diet requires consistency, so too does this mental diet. You cannot expect to transform your life by focusing on yourself once in a while or only when you remember to do so. No, this must become a daily practice as natural and necessary as this morning. As you rise from your sleep, take a moment to focus on yourself. Take a deep breath and connect with your eye. Feel the divine presence within you, the God that you are then throughout your day. Maintain this connection. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions to the world around you. When you find yourself slipping into negative patterns, gently bring your focus back to yourself. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them, the consciousness that observes. And in this awareness lies your power to choose, to redirect your focus. As you go about your day, the art of revision. This is a powerful technique that allows you to reshape your past and consequently your present and future. If you encounter a situation that is less than desirable, do not dwell on it. In your imagination, revise the event. See playing, exactly as you would have wished it to feel. The emotions you would have felt had it happened in that ideal way. This is not denial or escapism. This is you exercising your God-given power to choose the reality you wish to experience. For remember, the outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. By revising events in your imagination, you are changing your inner state, and thus you are out of reality must conform. Now let us address a common misconception. Some may think that focusing on oneself every day means ignoring the world around them or neglecting their responsibilities. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you focus on yourself, when you align with your divine nature, you naturally become more present, more engaged with life. You see, when you're not focused on yourself, you are the mercy of external circumstances. You react to life rather than creating it. But when you maintain a consistent focus on self, you become the creator of your reality. Respond to life from a place of inner peace and power. This focus on self also enhances your relationships with others. For when you are centered in your true self, when you are connected to the God within, you naturally radiate love, compassion, and understanding. You no longer seek validation for fulfillment from others, for you have found the source of all love and abundance within yourself. As you practice focusing on yourself every day, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception. The world around you may appear brighter, more vibrant. Synchronicities may become more frequent. You may find yourself naturally drawn to people and opportunities that align with your desires. This is because as you focus on yourself, as you elevate your consciousness, you begin to vibrate at a higher frequency, and like you become a magnet for experiences that match your inner state. Is the law of attraction in action, but it goes beyond mere positive thinking. It is about embodying the state of your desire, living from the end result. Let me share with you a powerful exercise that you can incorporate into your daily routine each night. As you lay in your bed ready to sleep, enter into a state of relaxation. Take several deep breaths, allowing your body to sink into the mattress. Now in your imagination, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. If your desire is for financial abundance, see yourself looking at a bank statement with a balance that thrills you. If it's a loving relationship you seek, feel the warmth of your beloveds. Whatever your desire may be, create a short, simple scene that implies its fulfillment. Now here's the crucial part, into the scene. Don't just watch it like a movie, but step into it. It is real. Engage all your senses. What do you hear? What do you smell? Make it as vivid and real as possible. And as you do this, feel the naturalness of. Feel as though this is your reality. Now repeat the scene over and over, always from the first-person perspective, always feeling it as real and natural. Do this until you fall asleep. This exercise, performed consistently, has the power to reshape your subconscious beliefs, and You see, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. By repeatedly entering into this imaginal scene, you are impressing upon your subconscious the reality of your desire in your subconscious. Being the faithful servant that it is, we work tirelessly to bring about the conditions necessary for the manifestation of this state. This nightly practice is a powerful way to focus on yourself, to align your consciousness with your desires. But remember, focus on self should not be limited to a few minutes before sleep. It must permeate your entire day as you go about your daily activities. An awareness of your inner state. Are you feeling anxious? Pause and reconnect with your I am. Are you doubting yourself? Remember that you are God expressing as you, and doubt has no place in the divine mind. Are you feeling lack or limitation? Remind yourself of your true, abundant nature. This constant self-awareness, this continues. On your inner state is the key to mastering your reality. For you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your experience every moment of every day. You are choosing the reality you experience through your focus. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be experiencing as you embark on this, of self-focus. You may find that as you begin to consciously direct your thoughts and align with your desires, challenges arise. All patterns may resurface. Doubts may creep in, and external circumstances seem to contradict your inner work. Not be discouraged by this. In fact, welcome it. For these challenges are not obstacles, but opportunities. They're bringing to the surface old beliefs and patterns that no longer serve you, allowing you to consciously choose again when you encounter resistance, whether internal or external. Simply see it as that change is occurring. The old must be uprooted before the new can fully take root. Remember, the circumstances of your life are not the cause of your inner state, but the effect of it. By maintaining your focus on yourself, by persisting in the assumption of your desired state, regardless of appearances, you are causing a shift at the deepest level of your being. And this shift must, by law, be reflected in your outer world. As you focus on yourself every day, you will begin to experience a profound sense of peace and power. You will realize that you are not at the mercy of the world, but that the world is responding to you. This realization is freedom. It is the understanding that you are the operant power in your life, that your consciousness is the one and only reality. Now delve deeper into the practical application of this teaching. How can you maintain this focus on self throughout your busy day? It begins with setting the tone each morning. Upon waking, before you engage with the world, take a few moments to center yourself. Close your eyes, a deep breath, and affirm your true. I am God expressing as your nature me. I am love. I am abundance. Feel the truth of these statements. Don't just repeat them mechanically, but feel them resonating in every cell of your being. This is not positive thinking or self-deception. This is you acknowledging and embodying your true divine nature as you go about your day. Okay. Make it a habit to check in with yourself regularly. Set reminders if you need to every hour, so pause and ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? What state am I in body? If you find that you've slipped into negative patterns, gently bring your focus back to your desired state. Remember, every moment is a new opportunity to choose. You're not bound by your past thoughts or actions. In each instance, you have the power to shift your focus, to realign with your true self, to choose again. Another powerful practice is to see everyone and everything as yourself pushed out. This means recognizing that the world you perceive is a reflection of your consciousness. The people you interact with, the situations you encounter are all aspects of yourself. By seeing the world in this way, you take full responsibility for your reality. If you encounter someone who's rude or unkind, instead of reacting negatively, pause and ask yourself, what aspect of my consciousness is deflecting? How can I shift my interstate to experience more kindness? This practice not only empowers you, but also cultivates compassion and understanding as you focus on yourself every day. You will naturally find yourself letting go of the need to control external circumstances. You will understand that true power lies not manipulating the outside world, but in mastering your inner world. This doesn't mean you become passive. On the contrary, you become more effective in your actions because they stem from a place of inner alignment rather than fear or lack. Now I want to address a question that often arises. Never. How long will it take for my desires to manifest? And to this, I say it is done. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you truly embody the state of your desire, it is finished in the realm of spiritual now, is to persist in this state. To continue focusing on yourself and your desired reality, regardless of appearances. Time is a construct of the physical world, but in the realm of spirit, everything exists now. Your desire is not something to be achieved in the future, but a state to be assumed now as you focus on yourself every day, as you live from the state of the wish fulfilled. You will find that the time it takes for your desire to manifest in the physical world becomes irrelevant. You are living it in consciousness, which is the only reality. This understanding brings about a profound shift in your approach to life. You no longer live in a state of wanting, of lack of yearning for something in the future. Instead, you live from a state of fulfillment of completeness. This is the state from which miracles naturally flow. As you continue to focus on yourself every day, you will find that your desires themselves begin to evolve. What once seemed may fade away, replaced by deeper, meaningful aspirations. This is a natural result of aligning with your true self. You begin to desire not from a place of lack or social conditioning, but from your divine nature. Remember, my dear friends, that this work of focusing on yourself is not a means to an end. It is not something you do until you get what you want and then discard. It is a way of life, a continuous communion with your divine self. Is through this ongoing focus, did you not only manifest your desires, but also discover your true purpose and express your unique gifts to the world. As we near the end of our time, I want to impress upon you the importance of persistence. The world around you may not change overnight. All passions and beliefs may resist your new focus, but do not be discouraged. Your persistent focus on self, your consistent assumption of your desired state is a mighty force. It is reshaping your world at the most fundamental level. Trust in the law. Trust in your divine nature. Trust in the power of your focused consciousness, for as surely as the sun rises each morning, your outer world must conform to your inner state. It is law. 4. In closing, I urge you to make this focus on self your highest priority. Let it be foundation upon which you build your life. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own experience, but contributing to the elevation of all consciousness. Remember, you are God expressing His you. You are the creator of your. You are the operant power in your life. Focus on yourself every day. Align with your true divine nature and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Go forth now with this knowledge and power. Apply these teachings diligently. Focus on yourself every day. Live from your desired state. And know with absolute certainty that your world must and will conform to your focus consciously. You are blessed. You are divine. You are powerful beyond measure. Now go and create the life of your dreams. It is your birthright. It is your destiny. Is done. Thank you. My dear friends, imagine standing before a vast, infinite ocean of possibility. This ocean, my beloved, is your consciousness, boundless, eternal, and ever responsive to your deepest beliefs and assumptions. Tonight we shall embark on a journey together, a journey into the very heart of creation itself. Our destination, a state of unwavering faith in the perfection of all things, a state where you act as if everything always works out for you. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Wayne, how can I possibly act as if everything always works out when my current reality shows me otherwise? And to you, I say this: your current reality is but a shadow, a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. It holds no power over your future unless you grant it such power. The world you see is a world that was. The world you will inhabit is the world you are imagining now. Consider for a moment the words of that brave teacher who said, "All things are possible to him who believes." These are not mere words of comfort, my friends. They are profound truth, a law as immutable as gravity itself. For in this universe, belief is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you truly believe, when you act from the conviction that all is working out for your highest good, you set in motion forces beyond your current comprehension. Let me share with you a principle that once grasped will revolutionize your entire existence. It is this: the world is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is but an outpicturing of your own consciousness. When you change the content of your consciousness, when you alter your deep-seated beliefs about the nature of reality, the entire world must conform to this new pattern. So how does one begin to act as if everything always works out? It starts, my dear listeners, with a shift in perception. Instead of seeing the world as a place of struggle and strife, begin to see it as a playground of infinite possibility. Instead of viewing challenges as obstacles, see them as opportunities for growth and expansion. This is not mere positive thinking. This is a fundamental restructuring of your relationship with reality itself. Imagine for a moment that you are an actor on a grand stage. The play is your life, and you have been given a role to play. Now, what if I told you that you are not just the actor, but also the playwright, the director, and even the audience? What if I revealed to you that you have the power to rewrite the script at any moment, to direct the flow of events according to your deepest desires? This, my friends, is the essence of acting as if everything always works out for you. It is the recognition that you are the author of your own story, the creator of your own destiny. When you truly internalize this truth, when you allow it to permeate every fiber of your being, you will find that the universe itself conspires to bring about your good. But let me be clear. This is not about denying the existence of challenges or pretending that difficulties do not arise. Rather, it is about maintaining an unshakable faith that all things, all events, all circumstances are working together for your ultimate benefit. It is about trusting in the perfect unfolding of your life's journey, even when the path ahead seems uncertain or fraught with obstacles. Consider the life of Joseph in the biblical narrative. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned, he could have easily succumbed to despair, but Joseph maintained his faith. He acted as if everything was working out for him, even in the darkest of circumstances. And lo and behold, those very circumstances that seemed to spell his doom became the stepping stones to his ultimate triumph. You see, my dear friends, when you act as if everything always works out for you, you align yourself with the very creative power of the universe. You tap into a wellspring of infinite wisdom and intelligence that knows far better than your limited human mind how to bring about your highest good. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Wayne, how can I maintain this attitude when everything around me seems to be falling apart? And to you, I say this: your outer world is but a reflection of your inner assumptions. If you persist in the assumption that all is well, that all is working out for your highest good, then that must become your experience. Remember, the human imagination is not bound by the constraints of physical reality. In your imagination, you can be, do, or have anything you desire. And as you persist in imagining the ideal outcome, as you continue to act as if everything always works out for you, you will find that your outer world begins to reshape itself to match your inner vision. Let me share with you a technique that I have found immensely powerful in cultivating this state of being. Before you sleep each night, review your day as if everything had worked out perfectly. See in your mind's eye each event, each interaction, each circumstance resolving in the most favorable way possible. Feel the joy, the relief, the profound gratitude that accompanies this perfect unfolding of events. As you drift off to sleep in this state of perfect contentment, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind the true seat of creative power, the belief that everything always works out for you. And as you continue this practice night after night, you will find that your waking experiences begin to mirror your nightly imaginary acts. But remember, my friends, this is not about escaping into a fantasy world. It is about recognizing the true nature of reality, that the world of imagination is the real world, and the world of physical senses is but a shadow. When you act from this understanding, when you live from the state of knowing that everything always works out for you, you are not denying reality. You are creating it. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this profound truth. Every experience you have ever had, every circumstance you have ever encountered, began first as a state of consciousness. Your beliefs, your assumptions, your habitual thoughts. These are the raw materials from which your reality is fashioned. When you adopt the state of consciousness that everything always works out for you, you are essentially tuning your mental radio to a frequency of perfect harmony and divine order. And just as surely as a radio receiver picks up the signals that match its frequency, so too will your life experience begin to reflect this new state of being. But here's the crucial point, my dear listeners, you must persist in this new state. You must be willing to ignore the evidence of your physical senses when they contradict your chosen assumption. This is where many falter on the path to mastery. They begin with great enthusiasm, declaring that everything always works out for them. But at the first sign of apparent failure or setback, they abandon their assumption and fall back into old patterns of thought. Remember, the physical world is always a few steps behind the world of imagination. There may be a time lag between your change in consciousness and its manifestation in your outer experience. During this period of transition, you must hold fast to your new assumption. You must continue to act as if everything always works out for you, even when your senses scream otherwise. This, my friends, is the true test of faith, not a blind faith in some external power, but a deep, abiding faith in the creative power of your own consciousness. It is a faith that says, though the entire world may seem to conspire against me, I know that everything is working out for my highest good. Now let me address a question that often arises when I speak on this subject. Some ask, but Wayne, if I act as if everything always works out for me, won't I become complacent? Won't I lose my drive to improve and overcome challenges? To this I say, acting as if everything always works out for you does not mean sitting idly by and expecting the world to cater to your every whim. Rather, it means approaching every situation, every challenge, every trinity with an unshackable confidence in your ability to navigate it successfully. When you truly embrace this mindset, you'll find that your actions become more inspired, more purposeful. You'll be moved to take bold steps that you might have hesitated to take before. You'll find yourself rising to meet challenges with enthusiasm rather than dread, seeing them as opportunities for growth and expansion rather than obstacles to be feared. Moreover, the state of being naturally aligns you with what I call your high self, that aspect of you that is one with the divine creative power of the universe. From this alignment flows a wisdom and intuition that far surpasses the limited reasoning of the human intellect. You'll find yourself guided to take actions that lead to your highest good, often in ways that your rational mind could never have conceived. Let me illustrate this with a personal anecdote. Many years ago, when I first arrived in New York City, I found myself in dire financial straits. By all outward appearances, my situation was hopeless. But instead of succumbing to despair, I chose to act as if everything was working out perfectly for me. I imagined myself living in abundance, sharing my understanding of the law with eager audiences. Now, had I relied solely on my human intellect, I might have frantically searched for any job that would pay the bills. But acting from the state of knowing that all was well, I was guided to take a series of seemingly irrational actions. These actions, which made little sense to my rational mind at the time, ultimately led me to the very opportunities I had imagined for myself. You see, when you act as if everything always works out for you, you open yourself to a higher intelligence, a divine wisdom that knows exactly how to bring about your good in ways that your limited human mind cannot fathom. But let me be clear, this is not about wishful thinking or naive optimism. It is about aligning yourself with the fundamental creative principle of the universe. It is about recognizing that you are not a helpless victim of circumstance, but a powerful creator shaping your reality through your consciousness. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Nebo, what about the really big problems in my life? Surely this principle can apply to everything and to you. I say there are no big or small problems in the eyes of the infinite. The same power that can manifest a parking space can manifest a mansion. The same principle that can heal a paper cut can heal a terminal illness. The only limits that exist are the limits you place on your own imagination. When you truly grasp this, when you begin to act from this understanding, you'll find that the distinction between possible and impossible begins to blur. You'll start to see that the only true impossibility is that which you decree to be so in your own mind. Let me share with you another powerful technique for embodying this state of being. Throughout your day, whenever you encounter a situation that seems challenging or problematic, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how would I approach this if I knew with absolute certainty that everything always works out for me? Feel the shift in your energy as you ask this question. Notice how your perspective changes, how solutions that were hidden before suddenly become apparent. This simple practice performed consistently can transform your entire life experience. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about denying or suppressing negative emotions. If you feel fear, anxiety, or doubt arising, acknowledge these feelings. Thank them for their intention to protect you. But then gently remind yourself of the greater truth. Everything always works out for you. As you continue to practice this, you'll find that these negative emotions begin to lose their grip on you. They may still arise, but they will pass through you like clouds in the sky, unable to shake your seated, knowing that all is well. Now let us address another aspect of this principle that is often misunderstood. Acting as if everything always works out for you does not mean that you will never face challenges or that your life will be free from apparent setbacks. Rather, it means that you approach these situations with a fundamentally different attitude. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth and expansion. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, you see them as necessary course corrections on your journey to your desired outcome. This shift in perspective is crucial, for it allows you to maintain your chosen state of consciousness even in the face of pitiless. And remember, it is your state of consciousness that determines your future experiences. Consider the life of any great achiever, any person who has left an indelible mark on the world. Without exception, you will find that their path was strewn with challenges, setbacks, and apparent failures. But what set them apart was their unshakable faith in their ultimate success, their ability to act as if everything was always working out for them, even in the darkest of times. Take, for example, the Wright brothers. For years, they labored to achieve powered flight, facing ridiculous financial hardship and countless failed attempts. But they persisted in their assumption that flight was possible, that all their efforts were leading them to success. And indeed, everything did work out for them in the end in a way that transformed the world. You see, my dear listeners, when you act as if everything always works out for you, you tap into a power that can move mountains. You align yourself with the very creative force of the universe, and in doing so, you become an unstoppable force of nature. But let me caution you, this is not about forcing outcomes or trying to control every aspect of your life. Rather, it is about surrendering to a higher wisdom, trusting in the perfect unfolding of your life's journey. It is about recognizing that the intelligence that beats your heart and grows your fingernails knows far better than your limited human mind how to bring about your highest good. When you truly embody this state of being, you'll find that you no longer need to struggle or strive in the way you once did. Your actions become more effortless, more inspired. You begin to flow with the current of life rather than constantly swimming against it. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Wayne, how can I maintain this state when the world around me seems so chaotic and unpredictable and to you? The world around you is a reflection of your own consciousness. When you change your consciousness, when you steadfastly hold to the assumption that everything always works out for you, you will find that the world reshapes itself to match this new pattern. Remember, your consciousness is the only true causated power in your life. External circumstances, no matter how seemingly solid or unchangeable, are always secondary to your state of being. When you truly grasp this, when you begin to live from this understanding, you will witness what can only be described as miracles in your life. But let me be clear, this is not about ignoring problems or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about approaching these situations from a fundamentally different state of consciousness. It's about knowing deep in your bones that no matter what appears to be happening on the surface, everything is ultimately working out for your highest good. This knowing, this unshakable faith becomes your anchor in the storms of life. It becomes the lens through which you interpret every event, every circumstance. And as you persist in this state, you'll find that the storms themselves begin to calm, that the challenges that once seemed insurmountable begin to resolve themselves in ways you could never have anticipated. Now, let me share with you another powerful practice for embodying this state of being. Each night before you sleep, take a few moments to review your day. But instead of simply recounting the events as they occurred, reimagine them as if everything had worked out perfectly. See that difficult conversation with your boss transforming into a productive exchange that leads to new opportunities. Envision that financial setback resolving itself in a way that ultimately benefits you. Picture that health challenge leading you to discover a new level of vitality and well-being. As you fall asleep in the state of perfect contentment, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind the true seed of creative power. The belief that everything always works out for you. And as you continue this practice, night after night, you will find that your waking experiences begin to align more and more closely with your imaginal acts. But remember, my friends, this is not about escaping into fantasy. It is about recognizing the true nature of reality, that your imagination is the creative power of God within you, and that the world you experience is but an outpicturing of your own consciousness. When you act from this understanding, when you live from the state of knowing that everything always works out for you, you are not denying reality. You are creating it. You are exercising your divine right as a co-creator with the infinite. Now, let us delve even deeper into the mechanics of this profound truth. Every experience you have ever had, every circumstance you have ever encountered, began first as a state of consciousness. Your beliefs, your assumptions, your habitual thoughts. These are the raw materials from which your reality is fashioned. When you adopt the state of consciousness, that everything always works out for you, you are essentially tuning your mental radio to a frequency of perfect harmony and divine order. And just as surely as a radio receiver picks up the signals that match its frequency, so too will your life experience begin to reflect this new state of being. But here's the crucial point, my dear listeners. You must persist in this new state. You must be willing to ignore the evidence of your physical senses when they contradict your chosen assumption. This is where many faults are on the path to mastery. They begin with great enthusiasm, declaring that everything always works out for them. But at the first sign of apparent failure or setback, they abandon their assumption and fall back into old patterns of thought. Remember, the physical world is always a few steps behind the world of imagination. There may be a time lag between your change in consciousness and its manifestation in your outer experience. During this period of transition, you must hold fast to your new assumption. You must continue to act as if everything always works out for you, even when your senses scream otherwise. This, my friends, is the true test of faith, not a blind faith in some external power, but a deep, abiding faith in the creative power of your own consciousness. It is a faith that says, though the entire world may seem to conspire against me, I know that everything is working out for my highest good. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in the act from the state of knowing that everything always works out for you, you will begin to witness what can only be described as miracles in your life. Doors that seem forever closed will suddenly swing open. Resources that you never knew existed will make themselves available to you. People will appear in your life at just the right moment to assist you on your journey. But remember, these are not miracles in the traditional sense of the word. They are simply the natural outworking of the law of consciousness. They are the inevitable result of aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. Now, let me address a concern that often arises when I speak on this subject. Some worry that acting as if everything always works out for them might lead to a kind of passive acceptance of undesirable circumstances. They fear that they might lose their drive to improve their lives or to right the wrongs they see in the world. To this I say, nothing could be further from the truth. When you truly embody the state of knowing that everything always works out for you, you become more empowered, not less. You approach challenges with confidence rather than fear. You take inspired action rather than reacting from a place of desperation or anxiety. Moreover, this state of being naturally aligns you with your highest purpose. You begin to see the bigger picture, to understand how even apparent setbacks are serving your ultimate good and the good of all. From this perspective, you are moved to take actions that are truly in alignment with your deepest values and aspirations. Consider for a moment the great changemakers of history, the men and women who have brought about significant positive changes in the world. Without exception, you will find that they acted from a place of unshakable faith in the rightness of their cause. They persisted in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds because they knew deep in their hearts that everything was working out for the highest good. Martin Luther King Jr., for example, faced violence, imprisonment, and constant threats to his life. Yet he continued to act from the assumption that the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice. He lived as if everything was working out not just for him personally, but for the entire civil rights movement. And indeed, his faith was vindicated, though he did not live to see the full fruits of his labor. You see, when you act as if everything always works out for you, you tap into a power that is greater than your individual self. You become a channel for the divine creative force of the universe. And in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you become a catalyst for positive change in the world around you. But let me be clear, this is not about becoming complacent or accepting injustice. It is about approaching every situation, no matter how challenging, from a place of empowered faith rather than fear or despair. It is about knowing that you have within you the power to overcome any obstacle, to right any wrong, to create any reality you can imagine. As you continue to practice this way of being, you'll find that your very presence becomes a transformative force in the world. People will be drawn to your unwavering faith, your unshakable peace. They will sense, perhaps unconsciously, that you are tapped into a higher wisdom, a deeper truth. And as you share this truth with others, as you demonstrate through your own life that everything always works out, you become a beacon of hope in a world that so desperately needs it. You become living proof of the infinite potential that lies within each and every human being. Now, my dear friends, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a final thought. The principle we have explored tonight, that everything always works out for you, is not just a nice idea or a comforting belief. It is a fundamental truth of existence, a law as immutable as gravity itself. But like any law, it requires your conscious participation to be effective in your life. You must choose moment by moment to align yourself with this truth. You must be willing to relinquish your old beliefs, your old patterns of thought, and embrace this new way of being. It may not always be easy. There will be times when your physical senses, your rational mind, and perhaps even those around you will tell you that things are not working out. In these moments, you must be willing to stand firm in your knowing. You must be willing to say, I do not accept the appearance of things. I know that everything is working out for my highest good, even if I cannot yet see how. As you persist in this practice, as you continue to act as if everything always works out for you, you will begin to witness a transformation in your life that can only be described as miraculous. You will find yourself moving through life with a sense of ease and grace that you may have never thought possible. You will discover within yourself resources of strength, wisdom, and creativity that you never knew you possessed. But more than this, you will begin to understand your true nature, the divine being, as a co-creator with the infinite. You will realize that you are not a helpless victim of circumstance, but a powerful creator, shaping your reality through the power of your consciousness. And as you step into this power, as you fully embrace your role as a conscious creator, you will find that your life becomes a living testament to the truth we have explored tonight. You will become living proof that everything always works out, not just for you, but for all of creation. So go forth, my dear friends, with this knowing deep in your heart. Act as if everything always works out for you, for indeed it does. Trust in the perfect unfolding of your life's journey, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Know that you are guided, supported, and loved beyond measure by the very creative power of the universe itself. And remember, the world is waiting for you to step into your power, to shine your light, to demonstrate through your own life the miraculous truth that everything always works out. The world is waiting for you to become the person you were always meant to be, a conscious creator, aligned with the infinite, living a life of joy, purpose, and boundless possibility. Thank you, my dear friends, for your attention and your willingness to explore these profound truths. May you go forth and live from the knowing that everything always works out for you. And in doing so, may you inspire others to do the same. For as you transform your own life, you transform the world. And that, my beloved, is the greatest miracle of all. I wish to share with you a profound truth that has eluded countless individuals in their pursuit of their desires. The very reason most people remain trapped in their current circumstances, unable to manifest their dreams, lies in their misunderstanding of one fundamental principle you see. The world you experience at this very moment is nothing more than the outward projection of your inner assumptions. Every success, every failure, every circumstance in your life is a direct reflection of what you have accepted as true in your consciousness. The key step that most people miss, and this is crucial, is that they fail to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. They pray, they hope, they work hard, but they continue to live from their current state of consciousness, rather than the state they desire to express. Let me explain this more deeply. When you want something, be it wealth, love, success, or any other desire, you must first understand that it already exists in what I call the fourth dimensional world. This is the world of infinite possibilities, the world of imagination, where all things already exist in their perfect form. The secret lies not in working towards your desire, but in accepting that you already possess it. This is where most people stumble. They continue to see their desire as something to be achieved in the future, thereby perpetuating the state of wanting rather than having. Think for a moment. When you say, I want to be successful, you are actually confirming and reinforcing your current state of lack. You are declaring to your subconscious mind that success is something outside of you, something you don't currently possess. This very assumption keeps you locked in the state of wanting. Instead, you must dare to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. If you desire success, you must go about your day feeling successful, thinking from success, acting from success, not as a future state to be achieved, but as a present fact. This is not mere positive thinking or affirmation. This is a complete transformation of your consciousness. You must feel the naturalness of being what you want to be. If you desire wealth, you must feel wealthy. Now, if you desire love, you must feel loved. Now, if you desire success, you must feel successful. Now, the power of your assumption, when persisted in, becomes your reality. This is law. Just as the seed contains within itself the full potential of the mature plant, your consciousness contains within itself the full potential of all you desire to be. Most people live their entire lives never realizing that their imagination is actually the very substance of reality. They see imagination as mere fantasy, as something separate from what they call reality. But I tell you this, your imagination is reality itself in its first stage of manifestation. To say to this, everything you now accept as real in your world was once only imagined. The chair you're sitting on, the clothes you're wearing, the building you're in, all were first imagined before they became what you now accept as reality. This is the pattern of creation. The same principle applies to your desires. The state you wish to occupy already exists in your imagination. It is as real as anything you now accept as fact. The only difference is your assumption about what is real and what is imagined. Let me share with you a profound truth. You never attract what you want. You attract what you are, and what you are is determined by the state you occupy in consciousness. This is why affirmations alone often fail. You cannot affirm externally what you deny internally. The key step that people miss is the complete surrender to the state desired. They try to make things happen instead of allowing things to happen through the natural law of assumption. They stand outside their desire, looking at it instead of living from within it. When you truly grasp this principle, you will understand that there is nothing to change but your assumptions about yourself and your world. The outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. This is law. Many of you sit here tonight thinking, yes, but how do I change my assumptions? The answer is simpler than you might imagine, yet it requires a complete reversal of your traditional thinking. Instead of working hard to achieve something, you must assume that you already have it. The art of assumption is the most vital skill you must master. When you assume a state, you must persist in that state until it becomes your dominant feeling. This is where people falter. They test the law instead of proving it through persistent assumption. Let me tell you something profound. Your consciousness is the only reality right now. As you sit here, you might believe that your senses define reality, but I tell you, your senses only show you what your consciousness has already accepted as true. Think about this carefully. Every night when you sleep, you enter different states in your dreams. In those dreams, you experience sights, sounds, and sensations that feel completely real. Where do these experiences come from? They come from consciousness itself. They come from consciousness deliberately creating these experiences. The difference between your dream state and your waking state is only in the intensity of your assumption. What you now consider reality is simply a more intense and persistent dream that you've collectively agreed upon. Now here's where most people miss the crucial step. They fail to understand that they can wake up from their current dream, their current state, by assuming a new state with the same intensity that they assume their present state. You see, at this very moment, you are assuming certain things about yourself. You're assuming your name, your job, your relationships, your financial status. These assumptions feel so natural to you that you don't even question them. This is the key. Whatever you assume with complete conviction must externalize itself in your world. But here's the vital truth that most miss. You can assume something new with the same naturalness. This is not pretense. This is not make-believe. This is the creative use of the same power that sustains your present assumptions. When you go to sleep tonight, you naturally assume you're in your bed. You don't question it. You don't doubt it. The same unquestioning. NJ acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Listen carefully now, for this is where the secret of manifestation lies. When you assume your desire fulfilled, you must do it with the same naturalness with which you assume your bed is real when you lie down to sleep. This naturalness is the key that most seekers miss. Your imagination, when properly directed, is not mere daydreaming. It is the very substance of reality. Every time you imagine something, you are literally creating a mold into which the substance of your world will flow. But, and this is crucial, you must remain faithful to your imaginal act. Most people perform an imaginal act and then return to their old state of consciousness. They imagine themselves wealthy for a moment, then open their eyes and react to their current financial situation. This vacillation between states prevents the manifestation of their desire. You must understand this: the moment you assume a new state, your entire world must rearrange itself to accommodate your new assumption. This is law, but you must give it time to externalize. The seed must have time to grow. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. Time is not a distance to be traveled. It is a sequence of states to be experienced. When you assume your desire fulfilled, you have actually entered the state where your desire exists. The time it takes to externalize is merely the time required for you to feel natural in that state. Most people fail because they don't grasp this truth. The feeling of naturalness is the key. If being wealthy feels unnatural to you, if being loved feels unnatural, If success feels unnatural, then you are not truly occupying that state. You are merely visiting it in your imagination. You must persist in your new state until it feels just as natural as your present state now feels. This is where faith comes in, not faith in some external power, but faith in the law that consciousness is the only reality. When you truly grasp this, you will understand that there is nothing to change but your conception of self. Change that, and you change your entire world. Now let me share with you something profound about the nature of your consciousness, your I am-ness. Your awareness of being is God Himself individualized. When you say I am, you are proclaiming the name of God, for that is the true name of God, I am. That I am. A fatal mistake that most people make is that they do not understand this power of I am. They use it unconsciously, carelessly, not realizing that whatever follows I am is what they are decreeing into existence. When you say I am poor, I am sick, I am lucky, you are literally commanding these states into being. This is the key step that people miss. They do not watch their assumptions. Every time you react to an event, every time you speak about yourself, you are setting into motion the law that shapes your world. Your I am is your consciousness, and your consciousness is the only reality. Consider this right now. You are saying, I am to everything you accept as true about yourself. These assumptions have become so natural that you don't even recognize them as assumptions. They feel like facts, but I tell you, they are only facts because you have given them the power. Power of your assumption. The secret of manifestation lies in transferring your awareness from one state to another. You must cease to be the person you believe yourself to be and assume the consciousness of the person you wish to be. This is not pretense. This is the creative use of the only power that exists when you say, I am successful, I am wealthy, I am loved. You are not lying to yourself. You are actually entering into that state in consciousness. And since consciousness is the only reality, you are literally creating that reality. But, and this is crucial, you must persist in that state until it feels natural. This is where most people fail. They make a bold declaration of what they want to be, but they don't persist until it feels natural. They don't give the seed time to grow. You see, manifestation follows the divine pattern. Just as a seed must be planted and given time to grow, your assumption must be planted in consciousness and given time to externalize. The law operates with mathematical precision. Whatever you are conscious of being, you will manifest. There is no other way. This is why your current world perfectly reflects your past assumption. Every detail of your life, every relationship, every circumstance, there's the flowering of seeds you have planted in your consciousness. Most people spend their lives trying to change things on the outside while maintaining the same consciousness. They try to change their world while remaining in the same state. This is like trying to harvest different fruits while planting the same seeds. It is against law. Listen carefully now, for I am about to share with you the secret of effective prayer. True prayer is not begging or beseech an external power. True prayer is assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you pray, you must pray believing that you have already received. This is where faith enters. But faith is not what most people think it is. Faith is not believing that something will happen in the future. Faith is accepting as fact what your senses deny. It is living from the end, feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled, while your senses tell you otherwise. Most people miss this crucial step. They pray and then look for evidence of answer. But I tell you, the evidence will only appear after you have persisted in your assumption. You must live as though your prayer has already been answered. Think about this. When you order something from a catalog, you don't keep ordering it over and over. You place the order once and then wait for its delivery. The same is true with your desires. You place your order with consciousness by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and then you wait in the absolute confidence that it must externalize. But here's the vital point that most miss. While you're waiting, you must maintain the consciousness of having already received. You must live from the end. Your actions, your words, your attitudes must all spring from the assumption. Your desire is already a fact. This is not easy. I know the evidence of your senses will constantly try to pull you back to your old state, but you must persist. You must remain faithful to your assumption despite all evidence to the contrary. Now let me share with you another crucial aspect that most people overlook. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical body. Your consciousness extends to everything you are aware of. Therefore, when you change your consciousness, you change everything that falls within its range. This is why you cannot change others directly. You can only change them by changing your consciousness of them. Whatever you consciously assume about another must be manifested in your relationship with them. This is law. Most people try to change others through external means, through persuasion, through force, through manipulation, but I tell you, the only way to change another is to change your consciousness of them, change your assumption about them, and they must conform to your new assumption. This applies to every area of your life. Your financial situation, your health, your relationships, all are simply outpicturings of your assumptions. When you change your assumption, the whole vast world must change to reflect your new consciousness. But here's where people stumble. They do not persist in their new assumption long enough for it to become natural. They venture into a new state of consciousness, but retreat at the first sign of contradiction. They are like farmers who dig up the seed to see if it's growing. You must understand this: the time between your assumption and its manifestation is not a period of inaction. It is a period of gestation. Just as a pregnant woman carries her child while going about her normal activities, you must carry your assumption while continuing with your daily life. During this period, you may face what seem to be contradictions to your assumption. Your senses may tell you that nothing has changed. This is the time when most people abandon their assumption and return to their old state. But I tell you, these apparent contradictions are actually signs that the law is working just as seed must first dissolve before it can grow. Your old conditions must often appear to worsen before they give way to your new state. This is law. The old must die for the new to be born. Therefore, I tell you this with absolute certainty. The key step that most people miss is not in the doing, but in the being. They focus on what they must do to achieve their desires when they should be focusing on what they must be. Remember this eternal truth: your world is yourself pushed out. Everything you see, everything you experience is simply yourself externalized. There is no one to change but self. When you change your concept of self, you change your entire world. The great secret of life is this: there is no one to tell you no except yourself. There is no one to deny you except yourself. There is no one to delay your good except yourself. You are the power you have been seeking. You are the authority you have been waiting for. In closing, let me give you this final, crucial understanding tonight. As you leave this place, you have a choice. You can continue to live from your old assumptions, thereby perpetuating your current conditions, or you can dare to assume a new state of consciousness, thereby creating a new world. The choice is yours, and yours alone. But remember this: whatever state you assume, whatever concept you hold of yourself, will externalize itself in your world with mathematical precision. This is not theory, and this is law. So I say to you, dare to assume that you are what you want to be. Dare to enter into the state of your wish fulfilled. Dare to live from the end, for in this daring lies the key that most people miss, the key to all manifestation. Go forth now, not to make things happen, but to allow things to happen by virtue of your changed consciousness. Go forth not to achieve, but to receive what is already yours by right of consciousness. Go forth not to become, but to be what you desire to be. For I tell you this: the kingdom of heaven is within you, and that kingdom contains all that you could ever desire. Your assumption is the key that unlocks this kingdom. Use it wisely. Use it persistently. And remember always, you are the operant power. You are the consciousness through which all things emerge. You are the God of your universe, and your consciousness is the only reality. The state you assume today is the world you will experience tomorrow. Choose wisely, persist faithfully, and watch as your world transforms itself to match your assumption that is all and that is enough.